Hi, everyone. This is Dee Marley with the History Bards podcast. Thank you for joining us today as we have the great privilege of welcoming Belle Ami to the show today with her fabulous books, breathtaking historical fiction, captivating historical romances, and gripping romantic thrillers. So, Belle, we would love for you to tell us a little bit more about you and your books to get the show started.
Okay, well, um, I'm writing about 12 years. My first book was actually, I wrote about my mother,
Okay.
and it was her journey through, she's a Holocaust survivor, and she
Oh,
journeyed through the Holocaust, and I wrote a book about her, which was a National Jewish Book Award finalist.
oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you. And actually, I just redid that book last year because it deserved it. I wanted it to be the best it could be.
Of course.
And why am I wearing earphones? They're not even working. And I'm
Okay.
like muffled. And so I republished it, and I actually I rewrote it, republished it, recovered it, and it's now called The Last Daughter. So
Okay.
yeah. And from there I just started, once you get one book under your belt, and it took me like 2 years to write it, of course.
Yeah.
And after that I thought, God, I got to do something that's a little less heavy.
Right.
So I started writing. Um, Actually, at that point, I wrote it kind of was right around when 50 Shades of Grey came out.
Oh,
So I started writing three of those. And I did. I could do it. And then from there, I thought, no, this is boring. This got a little boring for me. And I like research. I love
yeah.
research. So, and I'm a historian at my heart. I mean, that's really what I love doing. And I've read historical novels my whole life. So
Yeah.
I could easily slip into any world that's been written about.
Yeah.
And I'm particularly drawn to World War II, obviously, because I
Okay.
know so much.
Right.
And I'm also drawn to the Renaissance because I have this thing about Leonardo da Vinci. So, and all the painters. And I was a art history major in college.
Okay.
So that
Well, that's really
fit with me.
fascinating. That's really fascinating because, at Historian Press, we just published The Dream Collector by Ron Meek, and he lives in California too. And his whole entire book is about, he was an art history major too. And his whole book is about Van Gogh and Monet and all of those authors and
Yeah.
their connection to Sigmund Freud.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. It
Another
was,
kind of, is that a novel that he wrote?
yeah, it just came out. Just came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
from
good.
us, from we published it.
Yes.
But anyway, tell me more about, okay, so you said that you've been reading historical fiction your whole life. So tell us what kind of inspired you to start getting into the genre to write it.
I think I kind of slipped into, well, actually, when I was started writing screenplay when I was at like 21
Okay.
with a partner. Nothing ever got done, but we came really close. Were budgeted by ABC, NBC. It was for a series
Okay.
about, actually, we were just ahead of our time. It was a series about three pioneer women that we named the story Wildflowers. And anyway, at the same time, we started working on a paranormal kind of historical. It wasn't really that historical, but it was. It was about uh past lives, because I was kind of into astrology and other things and it was kind of like past lives coming forward, and it was a way of telling history. And it was about a painting that a young intern sits in front of and suddenly is drawn into the past
Oh, wow.
and begins to. So anyway, that was the original that it came from. And then, like, all these years later, I took that and I revived it, and I thought, wow, what if I make that about it? I just changed the whole story. And that's my Out of Time series, which is 3 books so far. I'm working on the fourth one now. Um, and it's about she's she's an art historian and he's an art detective. And basically they start out with the first book searching for a Da Vinci that went missing during the Renaissance. Actually, during World War II, it went missing. I'm forgetting my own book, but it went missing then. And then the next one is, so that's the girl who knew Da Vinci. The second one is the girl who loved Caravaggio, and that's all about Caravaggio and the most famous art, one of the most famous art thefts in history is the stealing of in Sicily by supposedly the mafia of one of his nativity. So I created an entire, the books are like thriller, mystery, art history, reincarnation, and past lives, and also psychic ability and dreams and visions. So they all come together in this series. And it's been a very good one for me. I mean, people love this series.
Oh yeah.
And I get amazing reviews. I do. I get them. I'm always getting them. And the third book is the girl who liked Da Vinci, the girl who loved Caravaggio, the girl who adored Rembrandt. And that's the third story. And that so when I write, I try to fit it in. My parameters are it has to be real.
Yeah.
Even though it's got a paranormal kick, it's the history has to be real.
Right.
I'm very, very. So what is it? I take everything that is known, and I do an immense amount of reading about the artists, and I take everything that is known and I fit it into what is possible, what is not known, and then I create my story.
Oh, that sounds really, really fascinating. So is that your newest book?
No, the
Okay,
one that's
tell us
just
about your newest
I'm
book.
really excited about this one too.
Okay.
This is pure historical fiction. No paranormal, no nothing.
Okay.
So, but it's dual timeline. So
great.
the story is it's Renaissance and it's World War II. Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa in 1503. And that painting he kept with him the rest of his life until he died in France. And so my concept is that this is about the story of his and Lisa's relationship. There's a reason he didn't give that painting up, in my mind.
Yeah.
In my mind, and because he always needed a little money. I mean, he was always, he was quite the spendthrift, and he was he lived a pretty nice lifestyle. He did not restrain himself having the finest silks, the most beautiful clothes, and all that. He enjoyed that. So that he kept that painting with him. He could have sold it a million times, but that he kept that painting says to me it was the most meaningful painting to him.
Absolutely.
So I took the timeline and I created the imaginary is I created letters because he left after so many years. He went to back to Milan, and then he went to Rome, and then he ended up in France. So, and he traveled back and forth in between to Florence. He did make several trips. So my concept is they wrote these letters to each other, and they never, and then when he died, he sent his letters back to her before he died, right before, which could fit perfectly in history. Yeah. And so she had two daughters. She had five children and one adopted son, and she had two daughters. Both of them became nuns. So when her husband died, she went into the convent with her daughter. She did. This is fact.
Okay.
And this is where she died. So my concept is she made her daughter promise that the letters would stay. She didn't want anyone ever to see the letters.
Yes.
But she couldn't destroy them. So she asked her daughter to keep them. And from then on through time, for 500 years or 400 something, each nun passes it on to the next nun to take care of. Hence, that's how I joined the two timelines, because in World War II, a young woman who is raped gives up her daughter and enters the same nunnery, and she's entrusted with the letters. She gives up her daughter, who is to a Jewish family in Rome. And then hence comes World War II and the German occupation and of Florence. And I based that part on the true story of this particular nunnery where the other nunnery went into the people all in reality. That's what happened is nunnery Carmine in Florence. And I hope this isn't too confusing. It
No,
is
no,
to
it's
me.
not.
Okay, so what happens is she ends up not only, so that nunnery saves a lot, 50 women, Jewish women are hidden there during the war. It really happened. And
Okay.
the Germans came into the nunnery, took a lot of them, but they managed to save some of them. And they also managed to save the baby. And that baby, I don't want to give away the book, but
No,
anyway,
don't.
that so there's a lot of it, and there's a love story too, because my character, that's all made up, but the love story is the young girl who is Jewish is hidden in the nunnery. It's her daughter, and she never says, she just protects her.
Right.
And anyway, the story goes on and has a happy ending.
Well, that sounds incredibly fascinating. And it seems like the dual timelines and time travel, all of that is really, really, in the forefront right now in historical fiction.
I love writing time travel,
Yeah,
and I love writing dual timeline. I love to bring two periods and have more. To me, it's more interesting. I find it
yeah.
fascinating.
And it makes it relatable to like,
Uh-huh.
the past and relating it to what people are going through in different time periods. And it just shows how that it continues to perpetuate itself over and over again.
Yes, history repeats itself, and history has clues that
So
tie
tell us,
it together.
yeah. So tell us a
Go
little
ahead.
bit about your historical research and how the process that you go through in writing.
Well, when I set upon a figure that I'm going to use in the story, I pretty much, go online and start. First of all, I do a lot of research online. Obviously, I go into archives and different things. Um, in the book I'm writing right now, I'm working with the German Federation on archival material from World War II about the Nazis and stuff like that. Because it's another painting that actually was taken during World War II, and I'm writing about that. Um, and then I just go on, I do a lot of stuff, go on to Amazon, and I just purchase a lot of books. For instance, for Da Vinci, I read Isaacson's There's Nothing Better Than That, him writing a history biography, and he wrote like an 800-page book on Da Vinci. So I mean, everything's in there. He didn't miss anything. Um, and then I read up some of his translations of his. I also ordered in translations of his notebooks and things like that. As much as I could get. So I garnered what he liked to write about, and I got it. I really think that how as an author or a musician, sometimes you feel like the person or the work is coming through you. It's like a
Yes.
universal connection.
Hmm.
I definitely feel that with Da Vinci, felt that with Da Vinci. And I usually kind of feel like I nailed him, who he is and how he
Okay.
was. And I humanized him,
Yeah.
which I think is never done to him too often. He's not, I mean,
Yes.
there is a few, the portrait. I also read some books, novels by obviously other people who've written the
Right.
same
And
kind
don't
of
you
novel.
think that's valuable to be able to do that, to
Oh,
read other people's
yes.
works? Because
Oh,
and I've said that before, like in giving advice about to younger authors and or those that are starting out, to read as much as you possibly can, not just about the research, but also other authors.
Oh my God, I'm a huge reader of other authors, and I've been that way since I'm like 5 years old. I mean, I've always been a reader. Yeah, I think if you're not a reader, I think that it's a really hard journey to become a great
It
writer.
is. It really is. It really is. Thank you for
It's
that. Definitely.
yeah, it's a
So can you
key.
tell us a little bit about, can you show us the cover?
Yeah, I don't even, because it's not out yet. I don't have the actual book. These are
Okay.
they're not for resale. They're the okay. I
The
love the
arcs.
cover.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're
Hold it up. There you
up.
go. There you go. Okay. Yeah, these are the arcs.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover.
Yeah,
Cause I
definitely.
did the yeah. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited. I was in shock. My books are usually pretty thick, but this one,
How many pages is that?
400 and actually, yeah, 420 or something. Yeah. And this is actually, and I love the way it's going to be in color in the when it's printed.
Oh
But
yeah.
can you see? That's
Yes,
the
yes,
last daughter. That's the
yes. I
last daughter.
recognize it. I recognize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I guess whenever you're telling a story about Da Vinci, it has to be that long and immersive.
And this one.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that nice? The inner
Yeah,
covers. They'll all
yes.
be, I think they're going to be in color. She would risk everything to protect her daughter. And it's two relate, and they also relate his relationship. I'm excited about the book. I can't
Yes. So
wait for
when
it
is it
to
releasing?
April 15th.
Okay.
It's up for pre-order now on
Okay.
Amazon. And
Well, we'll be sure and have that pre-order link whenever we post this video so that people
yeah,
can
and I
go and
think I'm
buy that.
getting reviewed eventually before then.
Yes, yes.
I hope.
Yes, you are.
Good.
And so can you tell us a little bit more about like can you give some advice maybe about your marketing strategy and how you go about marketing your books?
Well, I have a author assistant that she's in Canada and she's wonderful. She does all my marketing and actually she's amazing. She does my covers. Um, she does, not all of them, but some of them. And then she does my editing and so, but I do marketing. I think you have to do some no matter what on Amazon. I think
Yes,
it's
that's
really
kind of what
important.
that was kind of the point. It's like it doesn't matter where you get published as an author, learning that business side of you and how to do that is sometimes a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah. Oh, definitely is a challenge.
Yeah.
And, BookBub, and I shouldn't be plugging all of them, but I guess you have to.
That's okay.
And
Just
Facebook.
yeah.
And I mean, you try to post every day a little something. I do this thing called author wisdom, which are quotes, and it's easy for me. I get them from someone else, and
Mhm.
I like to, quotes by other authors and things
Yes.
like that. It's fun to do. And, doesn't get a huge response, but you never know who's going to. And then, of course, belonging to about 100 Facebook clubs, which is really trying, but you got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
it's just
especially,
part of it, part of building your
yeah.
fan base. Yeah.
And then going to some conventions, which,
Yeah.
a few every year. And I haven't picked one yet for this year, but last year it was the historical romance retreat,
Okay.
which is a wonderful one to it. If you write historical romance, they're not having it this year, but I don't know why. I think it's, times are tough and people are having a
It
hard time traveling
it
and
really
doing,
is. It really is. I think COVID did a number on all of us, just trying to get
yes,
back in the swing of things.
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, financially it's tough.
Yeah, definitely. Well, can
Uh,
you tell us so you said that it's releasing April 15th. Do you have any kind
yeah.
of book like book tour or anything like book signings where people can go to?
Not yet. I haven't set any of that up, but you know what?
Okay.
Maybe I know I should be doing that. I guess I will be, but I'm gonna really focus more on the marketing. I'll be
Right.
doing, like written word media. Uh, I'll do all that with the book bub and all that. I wish that I had more presence in actually, stores like Barnes and Noble, but at this point, I haven't really gone after it or done it. Best one would be airports. Wouldn't everybody love
Oh,
to get in the
yes.
airport?
Yeah, that would be great. That would be
Yeah.
great. But like you said, like we just talked about, it's a challenge in marketing. And sometimes as an author, you kind of don't know which direction to go in. So all of these different advice from different authors when we do the podcast is really helpful because a lot of people are looking for different ways to go about it. So I
Yeah, I'm
appreciate you
trying to get
sharing
some
that.
endorsements right now from some other authors. That's also
Yes,
a nice thing
yes.
to get. So I'm working on that now. I won't give names because then they may not do it.
I know. Well, that
Hopefully
sounds
they
really
will.
fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing that about your books. And for everybody out there who wants to know more about Belle and her books, we're going to post her website up on the screen. And we will definitely be giving you more information whenever her book releases on April 15th. And we really do appreciate you being on the show today.
I really thank you for having me, Dee. It's wonderful.
I have one last question.
Yes.
Where's Giorgio?
Giorgio's downstairs asleep. I should have brought him.
That's okay. When I was reading your bio,
I have the oldest, I keep things, I not only write about history, but I keep things alive longer. He's 21 years old.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, that's 150 years old, my little Chihuahua.
I am surprised. That's amazing.
I know, he's going to be one of the oldest dogs he is already one of the oldest dogs in the world.
Oh, that's really amazing. Well, I was hoping you would have him with you. I had to say that because I saw that in your
I could go get him, but you don't want to wait.
That's okay. But I just love the name. What's the reason why you named him Giorgio Armani?
My daughter did. It's Giorgio Armani, and she had a Coco Chanel too.
Okay, that's so cute. That's really cute.
Yeah.
Well, us authors love our animals, our dogs and cats.
I know. We have a cat too, Cheddar.
Okay. Well, that's so cute. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show today, and we'll be sure and send you the link whenever this posts.
I thank you very much, Dee. Have a great day.
Have a great day. And to everyone out there listening, this is Dee Marley with the History Bards podcast. Thank you for joining us today. And don't forget to keep making history and keep listening.